on Man United about Branthwaite, because we've seen today the news that Everton have their takeover has fallen through. They're in huge debt. They've already had fines and they've already had points deductions. They're staring down the barrel of PSR again. Their proposed takeover has fallen through. It looks like they're going to have to sell. They're going to have to sell, Staffy. We still want Branthwaite. We still want another centre-back. We know how talented he is. When we go back in, what should we be offering now? They still want 70 million. They've rejected, I think, 40 odd so far. What should Man United's approach be, in your opinion?
It has to be 50 or less. I don't think he can go for more than that. So you always got to look at the market and what's surrounding the market when moves are being made. So like you were talking earlier, like mentioning a house, you can go back to that quick real estate example. When there's one house on the block for sale, the price tends to be higher. But if there's about 4 houses on the same block for sale, you tend to see that the price is a little bit cheaper now. Now, when you look at what happened with us, there was a few houses on the block, Euro to Debo, them, but we already got one of them, and Everton knows that. So our desperation to get a center back has now went down a little bit because we're still in for DeLude, and DeLude is cheaper. So we could still go and get DeLude. And DeLude will be a direct replacement for Lindelof, because I think Lindelof is the one who's going to leave, not Maguire. So we are not in desperation to splash money on a center back. We already splashed the money because we ended up paying 60 or 62 to be exact for Euro. So we already made our big center back signing. The next one is not meant to be as big. Now, the thing with Everton is they fucked about too much and they wasted our time. So we went and got our business done. So now we are not coming in with the same desperation to get him. So you have to meet us somewhere, or else you're not going to sell him unless someone else out there wants to buy him, which is not a good look for them because there's not a lot of buyers out there. There's not a lot of clubs out there that need to buy a center back right now, considering that now that we're done, which is why I was very happy that we agreed Euro while we were negotiating with the Braithwaite, because I always thought it'd be either a leverage to get Braithwaite, or if they don't want to budge, then we'll just go and get Braithwaite and Euro, and that's it. So we already did that. We can go in and easily negotiate that one. And if we don't listen, he is more expensive than DeLude, but if he's about 10 to 15 more expensive than DeLude, I'll go and get him. But if they'll still say like 60, 70, I don't think we need to do that. I don't want 2 young center backs going into next season anyways. I'd rather DeLude. I'm more calm about DeLude now than before because I know what Lawless is going to say. He's going to be like, didn't you not want him from the beginning? Are you flip-flopping? You got to understand that I got my main guy first. If I got my main guy, which is Euro, I don't care who comes in now as a support. Because, yes, you could look at it and you could say DeLude is better than Lindelof. No, I'm not flip-flopping. DeLude is better than Lindelof. If I get him and I know he's not my main guy, I'm okay with it because I already got my main guy. And Terry, I wanted Euro before we were even linked with it. So now I'm more calm about getting a second option who's not necessarily what I want, but it's better than what we have. Like if you tell me who is better, DeLude or Lindelof, I'd be a hypocrite if I said Lindelof is better, But that means we already got 2 center backs. We got the better one that I wanted. So I'm okay with having a second option that's not as expensive, that leaves a little bit in our budget to now go get a Freddie Kadioglu in left back to play fullback for us, or a midfielder. Just use that money towards somewhere else in the budget. So yeah. If Branthwaite is going to cost us 70, we honestly just walk away. We don't need that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, for me, I'd be going back in. I'd offer him something like £45 million, maybe an add-on, and say that they're in finance again. We go back to the selling a house. If I'm selling my house and I've got a great job and I've got money, and you're going to have to pay me, even if I'm selling it, you're going to have to at least hit my valuation, if not more. If I'm in financial trouble and I could go bankrupt, I'm not getting full valuation for my house. No way. If somebody knows that about me, they're coming in and they're like, boom, you want 500,000? There's 400K, take it. And you got to weigh it, and you'd have to weigh it up. And that is what I would be doing. And that isn't to be, listen, I'm not happy to see Everton in this financial mess. But at the same time, it's not our job to help them out and go, do you know what? We'll give you 60 million. We'll chuck you an extra 10, 15 million over the valuation to help you out. I mean, where's the mileage in that for Man United? You could argue it creates a great relationship, and maybe one day in the future, you'll get you might get that back. They might pay a bit extra for a player, or you might have preferential treatment signing another youngster. But yeah, I think we should be going in there 40, 45 million, a little bit more of, a bit more on add-ons and saying, like, how do you like me now? How do you like them apples? Especially with the way some of their fans reacted to the Lenny deal. It was weird. 3 weeks ago, they were kicking off that we were trying to take Branthwaite. Now they're kicking off that we didn't take Branthwaite. It's like you, Staffy, moaning at Lawless for trying to steal your girlfriend. And then 3 weeks later, you see Lawless with a new girl, and you're like, why are you still not trying to shag mine? It's weird. They're like Everton fans. Not all of. I think Lawless could draw your girl. I reckon they love that. Because girls love that Jason Statham look and sound. He looks and sounds like Jason Statham. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what I mean?
What? Yeah. So where was I? So yeah, some of their behavior online has been absolutely horrendous, and instead of focusing on this whole time for Everton fans, they've been focused on Man United, they've been focused on Newcastle, they've been focused on the Premier League, they've been focused on UEFA, they've been focused on the red cartel that don't exist, literally creating mythical things instead of actually looking internally and saying, look how poorly run we've been. Let's stand up as a fan base and do something tangible about fixing this situation. Instead, you've just cried, blamed others, pointed fingers at others, and taken zero accountability as a football club. And fans do play a part because it's about not ignoring things, not brushing things under the table when the goings. When they were spending big money all those summers, there was no Everton fan. Everton fans called you salty if you went, how are you affording this? How is a club who only turns over 180 million a year spending more than some of the top 6 clubs who are turning over 800 million a year? It didn't make sense. And when you question it, you're called a hater. And this happens with football finance all the time. You question things that don't add up. Literally, the maths isn't there. Hater, hater, hater. No, I'm not a hater. I think you should be asking some questions of your club. Suddenly, you're 600 million in debt. You're staring down the barrel of points deductions and maybe administration if it goes really bad. And instead of saying, oh my God, look what we've done to ourselves, you're pointing the fingers at others. It's like blaming McDonald's for you getting fat. If you eat it every day and don't exercise, you're going to become unhealthy. You can't blame McDonald's for that. And that's the thing that annoys me about them. So yeah, I'd go in there. I've changed my mind. Go in there with 30 million, take it or leave it.
They're a deluded fan base, man. Listen, I'm tired of
what?
I used to like Everton. I need them relegated. I'm not gonna lie.
There's this big account, Everton account. You like this? They've posted out. It's got a lot of traction. I never thought I would say this, but if Everton are forced to sell Jared Braithwaite, I'd rather he be sold to anyone but Manchester United. Them slimy fuckers are intolerable. I mean, anyone.
Yeah, and that's why Anthony Gordon is going to go to Liverpool. They're going to have to hold that. Their own guy, their academy product, is going to end up going to Liverpool. Because they're deluded, bro. First of all, they're pretending that Onana rejected us to go to Aston Villa. When I wanted him, don't get me wrong, I like Onana, but we never really seriously pursued him. Then I see yesterday trolls on Twitter saying, oh, they spent this much for Euro, but they wouldn't spend it on Braithwaite. Bro, who are you, bro? Like, honestly, who are you? I don't like to enjoy someone's misery, but in this case for Everton, I actually don't mind it. And I really hope that Braithwaite goes anywhere on a cheaper fee than they thought. Because the way they operate as a club and now their fan base has just been pissing me off. So they deserve what they're getting.
It's so interesting since we've had the takeover. So for years, fans of clubs like Everton told us, why are you angry at the Glazers? They're good at what they do. Now, I always knew they were trolling. I always knew they were being sarcastic and taking the piss. They were never serious about the Glazers being good owners. They've seen Sir Jim come in, and Sir Jim has just said things that have rattled other people, but he's just speaking facts. This fantasy lie that's been created that he wants the government and the taxpayer to build our new stadium. Not true at all. What he wants is he and Ineos will raise the money through investors or themselves to build a new 90 to 100,000 seat stadium. What he is doing is asking for the entire area to be regenerated, which means you're going to build, I'm going to make these little things up, but a mall and a bowling alley and a cinema and maybe some restaurants and bars. None of that will be owned by Man United. None of the income will come to Manchester United. What it will do is generate jobs and income and business for that local community, plus
Elevate the community.
plus jobs whilst it's being spent. And what they're actually doing is trying to get money that's normally being spent in London on projects and having that money moved to Manchester. Now, for some reason, that's triggered people into, well, why don't you pay for it? Just because he's a billionaire doesn't mean he personally should be rejuvenating Manchester. That's not his job. The second bit is when he turned around and I agree with what he said, that when it comes to the 14-6 rule in the Premier League, where like 14 votes is a majority or 15 votes is a majority, he's right when he says, as the members of the top 6, we have to be mindful that a lot of the smaller clubs come together to stop us from getting bigger. We know this when everybody voted to make sure Man United and Liverpool didn't get more TV money, even though we produced, this was 10 years ago, the lion's share of that. Now, of course, every single club is going to propose things that they feel best suits them. And then there's a democratic vote on the direction that it goes. But he is right. Like, if Man United disappeared off the planet Earth tomorrow, along with Liverpool and Arsenal, it would hurt the Premier League so much more. And I'm just going to make up 3 names here, than if Wolves, Everton, and Nottingham Forest disappeared. And I would never want a club to disappear. But let's not pretend we're in the same space at this particular juncture in our time. But for some reason, they're intolerable. No, he's just speaking facts. He's not being rude. He's not being disingenuous. He's speaking facts. And he's talking about putting Man United first. And I'm going to be really honest here. My owners have not put Man United first for 17 years, and none of you gave a shit. None of you cared about the way those absolute leeches run us into the ground, stole billions of pounds out of our coffers. None of you cared about that. A new guy comes in and says, I'm putting Man United first, and everything I'll do is to try and better Man United. Oh, that's disgusting. No, it's not. Maybe if your owners put your club first and run you better, you wouldn't be £600 million in debt and staring down the barrel of disaster. So get the hell out of here with your fake outrage. Look at your own club, look at your own owners, and take some fucking accountability.
Well, there you have it. You're going to be Everton fans' favourite person today, Terry.
Most Everton fans are going to agree with what I say because they know what
Everton again.
And I'm talking about the salty right ones online. Most Everton fans are angry at their own club. I've spoke to many good people from a great part of the world. Just these salty idiots online. Take some goddamn accountability and stop trying to twist it on Sir Jim or the Newcastle owners or the Red Cartel at Liverpool have done this to us. FSG have done nothing to you. Your owners have done this to you. Take some accountability. Take some accountability. Sorry, go on, Lola. Sorry.
No, I was going to say I can't see anyone paying a 70 mil. So when you go and buy some, when you go and make an offer and you pay that sort of money, you're paying it kind of over the odds because, well, we're gonna need to sign this player before someone else comes in and gets him. Or we're desperate. We desperately need this position. You've said you're not desperate for him because you've made the signing, and I don't think anyone else is going to come in and pay that 70 mil. I don't think you've got any cut. So you could, like I said, you could just chill and like you said, 45 mil max. They're going to have to sell. So they're getting a bit of money for Onana, but like you said, all of that debt, owners aren't willing to take it on. You know what I mean? I think they should be selling. But if they keep hold of these players, honestly, I think they could be looking at more deductions, points deductions and things like that.
Yeah, listen, I hope they don't happen. And I will say that now. I'm sure there'll be people that will clip up what I've said and they'll ignore the context behind what I'm saying. I hope nothing bad happens to them. For years, I've stood up against owners of clubs. I did it for Newcastle fans. Stood up against Mike Ashley with them. And I had Newcastle fans would send me links and, can you share this? Of course I will. But you've got to take accountability first. You can't be blaming others. Man United are not why Everton are where they are. Liverpool, Arsenal, West Ham, none of our clubs are accountable for where Everton are right now. Everton Football Club are. And, your supporters trust. Where have they been? What have they been looking at? Ask questions. Staffy's earning 100 grand a year, but he's spending £250,000 a year. If I'm his bank manager, I'm going, mate, what are you doing? This ain't sustainable. You're gonna try and talk him out of it. What the hell's been going on at that football club? I don't know.